Hello and welcome back, YouTube. We got another VOD review coming for you. This time we're going to be looking at the Boston Uprising taking on the Los Angeles Gladiators. So pretty interesting week for both of these teams. Boston Uprising had a win against the Vancouver Titans in a map 5 banger. Depends on how you want to say banger. I think my preseason ranking of Boston seems I'm comfortable with it. I don't think Boston's going to be good this year. I think they're around 17th to 18th. They didn't really ease those concerns. I felt like they were playing a lot of different heroes, a lot of different players. They used all three tanks at certain points throughout their first match. They're switching MCD and Crimzo back around. It feels like they are not always playing Striker, which feels like a weird choice. So it'll be interesting to see how Boston continues to go. I'm a little worried about them, but hey, someone I'm not worried about as much is the Los Angeles Gladiators. They went 2-0 on the weekend, but had two pretty easy matches. Who did they beat? Who was their first match? New York Excelsior? Yeah, it was against New York Excelsior. So they had a clean win against the New York Excelsior. They did lose a map. And they also dropped a map against Boston in this one. So we'll start watching it and we'll talk about it because Gladiators look good, but we've hyped them up so much, and I think their debut performance wasn't as dominant as we would have liked, especially considering the teams that they played against. Like people are like, oh yeah, but it's fine. Well, when we compare them to, let's say, the San Francisco Shock, the Shock obliterated their ow! In terms of score, Punk statistics look really, really good. You good? This team showed us that they can bring Victoria. I think she got her tail stuck under the thing. Are you okay, Gelly? I think her tail got stuck under my, bolt. Now is not the time to corner Aya. Hey, come over here. I think her tail might have got stuck under my thing and I got scratched at. I got clawed. You okay, Aya? I'm sorry about that. You got your tail stuck under there. You okay? I'm okay. I'm just worried about Aya. You good, Gelly? Come here. Are you gonna stay in that corner? Okay, don't mute the stream. Do we need to report you? No, I'm okay. I think she might have had her tail off the desk, and then I pushed in my desk, and then we might have closed it in. Because I can't imagine any other reason she would freak out like that. She's gonna mute the stream. It's gonna happen. All right, we can continue. Trish about a ban. It's okay. So Boston, they've got a toolbox. They got 9 players. I think it got though. But yeah, so Gladiators not looking super hot. I think Reiner on the main tank on that Winston looks pretty solid. We saw a couple of good looks from him. We even see a bit of space coming in to play the Sigma on like Circuit Royale, the Sigma Zaya. But it doesn't look flawless. I think Shu looks really good on the Ana. I think Kev still looks sick on whatever he touches, as we always know Kev said it be. But I think Patty Fan had a pretty average opening weekend. He looks like he was pretty hard on himself, but he was fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, anyone who says Patty Fan was bad is just wrong. I just think he didn't have that dominant performance we expect from him and from the Los Angeles Gladiators. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves as the season goes on. And if he can start, because obviously it was fine in his first 2 matches, but from there, he needs to be able to have better performances because as he plays against better teams and he's expected to have a better performance, he needs to be at that level, right? I think Patty Van was nervous. I think so too. Yeah, I'm not sure if... I think Crimzo did play this match, but he said he went to the hospital, but I believe he's fine now. I want to see more space. It makes sense why they're not playing space in a meta in which it's like Winston meta. I can understand why Reiner's getting the play, but I prefer Crimzo over MCD. I do as well. Here's my thing, and I've said this for the last couple of years. I don't care who you choose. I don't think there is a wrong answer. Like, if you want to play MCD, play MCD. You want to play Crimzo, play Crimzo. I don't think there's a drastic difference between the two. They just need to pick one. Like, I don't think switching your flex supports between maps is ever a good solution, right, Houston Outlaws? And I'm worried about them as well because they did the same thing in the tank role. They played Punk. Punk seems to come in to play the Diva Zaya. He plays Diva on the controls. Itzel comes in to play the Winston on a Watchpoint Gibraltar. And then we saw Marvel play, honestly, a very good Doomfist on a Oasis map as well. So they seem to be going like around in circles with their tanks a little bit. And then on the DPS lineup as well, we see Victoria come in to play the hit scan role. It feels like on like anywhere they want to play like Widow. Like I think we see Victoria come in and play Widow on Gibraltar in this match. It just doesn't feel necessary. And it feels like they're kind of cornering themselves with how much diversity they're adding to their composition. So
look, middling impact, I think at times it seems so much riskier to play that Reaper up front and personal. Perhaps
I don't know why they signed Itzel. Maybe for the Winston. Maybe they like the Winston play of Itzel, but it's hard to really know, right? Striker doesn't look happy. Yeah. And that's, you know, I said that as my hot take. I don't know if I said this to you or who I said this to. I think I said this on my stream like last week. My hot take is I think it's a really negative thing, but I think this is like a crazy thing that I think will happen. I think Striker retires before the end of the season. If Striker's willing to retire on the San Francisco Shock, if Boston Uprising starts playing really badly and everything starts becoming a dumpster fire, I wouldn't say it. Said it on Plat Chat. Ah, yeah. So I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about Boston because if they lose Striker, all of a sudden it gets way worse, right? Like if Boston starts having a really rough start to the season, we know they've had a struggle one as well. They almost lost to the Vancouver Titans, which I think we all rank as potentially the worst team in NA right now. That's not a good sign. And if they go on to lose Striker as well, it'll be bad. It'll be bad. So I think Paris is worse. I think Paris played way better teams. Like, who did Paris play? Paris played against Florida Mayhem and Atlanta? So I give them more of a benefit of the shock, sorry. I knew they played against one of the dominant teams. Yeah, my arm got by Aya.
We'll see what they decide to do.
It'll be out.
Not seen any Pharah really throughout the weekend. Probably expect to see the Winston from both sides, which is quite interesting. You know, as we went through like alpha and beta mid, like Winston was a hero that I think a lot of people were
time to cut it off. I'm dying, chat. Yo, Nevism, thank you very much for the prime sub. Dahori, thank you very much for the 3 months as well. I think we're 200 bits, by the way, Arkin, as well. Lemon, thank you for the 20 months. All right, let's get into it. So LA Gladiators is going to play the Winston with Reiner. This is kind of around the comp that the LA Gladiators like to play throughout the entirety of their matches. They like to play Reiner on the Winston. Kevster plays like the Soldier, and then Patty Fan plays like the Genji Tracer. He plays a little bit of Widow. At some point they did switch, like I think in this match Kevster himself playing Genji and Patty Fan's on Soldier, so it doesn't feel super cohesive. And it doesn't feel like they have a permanent plan. Like they do have some adaptation in them for better or worse. Boss Uprising, they like to play Punk on this Diva here, Valentine on the Echo, and Strike on the Soldier. Valentine does play a little bit of Genji here and there. And yeah, Faith likes to play the Mercy, which I don't hate the Mercy if you're going to play Soldier Echo, honestly. I think the Mercy does a lot of individual healing. I think the Valk can be good. You have the potential for reses. I think you might lose a little bit of the playmaking from Lucio and also the ability to deflect the Winston like super well as a Lucio. So why do you think they like the Diva? I think they like Punk Diva. As I said, the fact that they're playing Diva to me it screams that they don't want to play Doomfist or Winston. It feels like they want to just play Punk, and his Diva is his best hero.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Striker was able to make it out of that situation.
So it feels like they're playing to their strengths rather than playing to what they think the meta is. It's not like they think that Mercy Diva is the best meta. I think it's just what they're better at. Boston gets the first cap, which is kind of crazy. But LA Gladiators take it back. But like we haven't really had a fight here yet, right? Like we're all just sort of running around shooting at each other. But there hasn't really been a cohesive fight.
But Faith, you gotta believe it's in the name. He gets in there, finds the res, and the Gladiators are gonna find themselves up against 5 again.
Like, I'm kind of surprised that the Gladiators haven't dove anything, right? Like, they're playing Genji Winston, and I think this is a lot of... Hello? Did I just restart that? Sorry. They're playing a lot of Genji Winston, But it doesn't feel like Reiner. It doesn't feel like Reiner and Pattyfan are like diving together effectively. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should have. Crimzo should have been dead by now. Like with the Genji or the Winston, or they should have died trying. Feels like they're playing so passive, which isn't good against an Echo Soldier Mercy. What's the best opportunity to use the Winston U railgun? You generally want to like charge it up as you jump. You Winston jump in, you zap them, and then you land on them and use your combo. That seems to be the best way to use the soldier. Oh, is he dead? Oh my god. But now, like, see, but now it's on like the opposite end of like, Boston are playing so passive, and I think this is the problem with the way Boston is playing. So, as I said, the Gladiators should have gone in when Boston were playing aggressive. Now it feels like Boston's just playing so passive. They're just hoping that they get dove. Like they're playing counter dive with the Diva, with the Soldier, with the Echo, but the Gladiators are just doing nothing now because they have the cap, and the Boston Uprising are the ones who have to go in. Oh, that was not great. Oh, yeah. Good sleep. These are some good individual plays by Boston.
From the point, Punk can just dip in, recapture, and get Boston ticking up in that percentage. But this could be a problem. This might be a short hold on the point as Reiner charged up, wanting to pressure.
Oh, another good sleep by Crimzo. Crimzo's actually farming right now.
Yeah, but you just see the pressure it puts on the supports, right? Crimzo has no ability to kind of see anybody else in the team to try and keep them alive. Funny Astro trying to just keep himself up. Looks like Striker and Co.
Yeah, Patty's struggling in this map thus far.
Earn some percent on the point. You're really looking at Pattyfan here with the Dragon Blade. What he can get coming into this next fight is a nano boost gets used here by the Boston Uprising.
Wonder if there'll be a meta where Ana isn't must pick. Oh yeah, absolutely, right? Like I think Ana is the best support right now, flex support right now, but things are gonna change, right? Remember we're in a beta, they're gonna be aggressively changing things. Like, do we think we'll see the new Zen? With Zen with 25 more shields and the kick, do we think that is going to put Zen into the meta? Maybe. We don't really know what the effects of that is going to be. That's honestly not a bad blade. Honestly, if you blade and kill the Ana, that you take that. I don't know where Faith was for that. Like, Faith was like nowhere to be seen on that Genji blade. Crimson just got left out to dry.
Is huge, as we just saw in the last series, Ultraviolet.
And we already seen Bap Lucio. We saw very little amounts of Bap Lucio, but that was only when teams were playing Rush or a Brawl. They wanted to play that Reinhardt, and they wanted to like stay together. And Bap's really good with that because like I think the window gets more value. I don't even think you need to play the Bap with that comp. Honestly, I think you could get away with Brian Lucio Ana, but maybe they think Bap is better if you're gonna play like the Ana and all together.
This is where the Uprising need to make their gambit. Valentine spots that shoe there briefly, but it's Reiner. Very healthy in primal rage, and Valentine has
like I don't really like how like Gladiators use their ultimates here, right? Like I think this is a prime example of what I don't like about the Gladiators thus far, right? So it's like they're chilling, right? They're holding positioning. Reiner goes in. Reiner goes in alone because Pattypan is here, right? Has to use his primal. In a second. There he goes. He pops his primal. Shu is alone. Funny Astro beats to save Shu. Like just Shu. But then Kevster pops Visor but also doesn't get the beat. So he wasn't in positioning. So he's like low when he pops the Visor. So he doesn't want to go too aggressive. So it feels like they've just used 3 ultimates and gotten very marginal value from all 3 of them. And I think that's it, right? It's like Gladiators are good and they have good individual players and they make good individual plays just like that, right? But it doesn't feel cohesive, and a better team will punish them for using their ultimates averagely like that, right? That was a good beat by Faith. All management looks shaky across the way, and that's just like lack of experience, lack of understanding. Like, I think with the metas changing so aggressively, with things changing so quickly, it's very easy to feel very uncoordinated as a team. It'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah, the Diva just trying to stall for as long as possible. Valentine back on the Reaper, but he gets taken out as this looks like a fight that the Gladiators will come.
Alright, Gladiators do manage to hold though.
Blade here for Patapon, but it really is just a garnish on this meal. The Uprising have made of it. First round going over to the Gladiators. Fairly close there, but bear in mind, Boston had that point from about 16% to 99 while the Gladiators formulated their approach.
Guys don't seem really top tier yet. Dallas, Rain, Shock, Glads at the moment seems correct. No, I think it's Rain, Shock, Dallas. I think Dallas looked way too shaky in the Outlaws match to give me pure confidence that they're going to be fine. Right? Like, Dallas have to prove to me that they can play consistently. I think Atlanta and Shock looked the best this weekend. Obviously played against easier opponents, but that doesn't change the fact that they look the best, right? Dallas just, that performance against Outlaws is just, it just worries me too much. Houston Shock will be the real test, right? And then that's it, right? Like, we're only in the opening weekend. Everyone's only played potentially 2 matches. Like, only time will really tell. But for me right now, I don't really feel super confident on anyone. There's no one who I think who I'm like very confident is like the best, because every team either played only easy teams or dropped the spaghetti at some point, right? I think the stage played a huge role, and yeah, like you can make that like a lot of Dallas management and coaching and players came out and said that they were just really nervous on the match playing on stage and stuff like that. But that doesn't, you know, that at the end of the day is an excuse. It could be factual and that could be the reason they played so badly, but it doesn't change the fact that they got 3-0 bodied by Houston. So you can't just like use that as an excuse for them. No Johns, yeah. Tournaments will also be on stage, yeah. Like, I feel like I'd rather see... Would you rather see... If you're playing a Xayah, would you rather see a Genji or an Echo? I feel like I'd rather see an Echo if you're going to play the Xayah. But I guess the Xayah can bubble the Genji Blade, but I just don't think Genji Blade is very good. I think the Echo is so free. Like, against the Genji, the Echo feels very free. And the Xayah, like Xayah Echo... Like, I think Pattyfan should just be able to farm. And he did, right? Sound proper greater than Edison Sparkle. Yeah, if you look at just this weekend, then true, right? But we remember, like, Edison and Sparkle played against good teams. Or at least they did in the Houston Outlaws. Sam and Proper just bullied some poor Europeans. Ergen plays guitar. Thank you for the prime sub. Welcome to the fam. Sam is on his best hero as well. Yeah, like, time will tell. We don't need to choose. Like, I feel like a lot of people are coming here trying to ask about Rookie of the Years and all that kind of stuff. Should be excited. I think it creates good conversations, but I don't think anyone can say anything definitively right now. I think Reaper's probably the best with Xayah. Yeah, Dallas made Reaper Xayah look clean. Yeah.
Boston on the enforced savings plan right now, and Striker has to dig into those pockets to find more than lint and some buttons.
Sam's best hero is Echo, not Genji, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, but like they're still his best-ish heroes, right? I just really like the DPS trio of the Shock. I think a lot of Shock's roster feels smart. It feels good. I think the big weaknesses of the San Francisco Shock is the Violet main support, which looked fine this weekend, and then Kaluge, right? Which both of those things looked fine. They definitely looked perfectly fine. It just only time will tell. It's not bad. I think you trade the trade for the grab for the beat. Why did Nagi not play more Echo? You got hard diff on Genji both matches. That's an interesting question. Like, it felt like they were very set in their ways if they wanted to play the Genji and not the Echo. That could easily be a scrim thing of like, that's how they'd scrim. They'd always played Genji. You don't want to change it at the final hours. Okay, the Genji. Oh, he got the blade out. If he lives, that was a good play by Pattyfan. Like, that was a good play. Like, that was honestly a really good copy by Pattyfan. Yeah. He did not really do much with that nano.
Yeah, well, if you get players weak with the Echo and then have the nano boost, being able to use that focusing beam is massive, as you see Punk
Did you get Crimzo? Yeah, well played. Like, I think Paddy Fan gets more hate than he really should have. Like, I don't think his play was super clean, and he definitely made mistakes, but I feel like Paddy Fan is getting more hate than he really deserves. And I think people are discrediting or exaggerating how poor his performances were.
Panavan with some nice plays on the Genji and the Echo there. And he really kind of makes a difference. I feel like the Zarya didn't pay off.
Your skinny ankles on the broadcast still give me nightmares. What do you mean skinny ankles? What do you mean by skinny ankles? What does that even mean? Can you even have jacked ankles? I had someone tweeted at me. Someone tweeted at me asking, Custa, do you shave your legs? It looks like you have no leg hair. And it's like, I actually have a lot of leg hair. I actually have a lot of ankle hair as well, but someone's like looking at our 3-box frame and they're like, enhance? Enhance? Nope, no hair. Nothing there. Nothing there. We should tweet at him. Show us your leg hair. You happy, chat? We good? We see the leg hair? Make sure to use your Twitch Prime. I did shave my legs for the Mercy cosplay. Show feet? Absolutely not. Is this a feed channel now? Dude, we ain't doing we doing Iron, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. This is the content that Iron's here for. Thank you for the 5 gifted, much love. Should have waxed them, yeah. It's the same reason that people were getting mad at me for the crutch content. Of like, Custa, can you not man spread on the broadcast? I'm like, I don't know what you want from me. How are you expecting me to be able to not show you my crutch? It's just the way that I'm dealing with these things. Look how stressed Paddy is. Yeah, he seems like he's it feels like he's putting more pressure on himself. I think Paddy will be better once he gets more comfortable and gets more matches in under his belt.
Yeah, roster, but Ryan, as we go looked pretty dynamic. Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
Alright, let's get into it. Custa got more subs from showing his leg hair than I got from co-streaming all weekend. Yo, Azavia, thank you for the 5 gifted as well. Sorry, I missed that one as well. Thank you very much for the 5 gifted, Azavia. Much love, thank you for the 5 subs. Yo, Johnny, oh yeah. Johnny, sometimes you just gotta sell out. Sometimes you just gotta pull out the leg hair, pull up a leg, and you're good to go. Johnny, just wear really short shorts. Johnny, if you wear really short shorts on the first day of broadcast that you have, I will give you 10 gifted subs. If you wear, I'm talking like footy shorts, short. I'll give you 10 gifted.
The damage output of the Gladiators is going to come out on top eventually, so we'll see Kevster probably.
You might lose your job, but you'll be 10 gifted richer.
The Soldier 76. And we'll get this matchup that like we kind of expected where, yeah, I mean, Striker trying to play...
Custa got more gifted subs showing his legs than he got from winning a bet with Sideshow. That's true.
Definitely like this better than what we saw from London, right?
Spare us, Johnny. Oh no, you guys, it's coming now.
Is a tank that we really haven't seen too much of, really outside of that series, and then
maybe jobless, but $50 pog. Oh no, he doesn't get $50. Remember, Twitch takes a big cut, and then taxes and that kind of stuff. It's like 25 bucks everything added up. Could be fun though.
Sort of be a cactus that gets jumped on by the Gladiators, but he was out of position in the computer shop at the wrong.
All right, so we're gonna see the Reaper Zarya play. So we saw Dallas play this. Did Dallas play a Genji with it? I think they did, right? They played Edison, or did they play an Echo with it?
He's coming back and removing Patapon from the equation. Punk also.
But yeah, I kind of like the Reaper Zarya, the Zarya combo. I think it makes sense. It's definitely not an aggressive composition. It feels very counter-divey, but it's pretty good because the Zarya bubbles can, if the Zarya bubbles are used correctly, it can be very hard to deal with it. Sparkle Genji, yeah.
Love me some black on purple. Real.
On C on both attack and defense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got my contacts in, but they're not that good. But yeah,
That's straight out the AP style guide, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just about 90%. That's kind of what Boston Uprising needs in terms of these fights, right? They had the Reaper TP, they had the Genji go in, you're able to get both support straight away.
Valentine Genji. I actually really like the, especially if you're gonna play Zaya, I actually really like the Nano and the Genji without the blade. Like, I feel like the dash free, because it's 50% extra damage, right? 30% extra damage? 50% extra damage? It's a number. I think it's 30%. It's 30%. Is it 50%? I can't remember the exact number, but it makes the dash resets much better, and it makes the dash going through the entire team. It's 50. Okay, yeah. Oh, that was a... Did he get slept at the end there as well? Dude, Crimzo just farmed. Wait, was that a sleep? Dude, look at this Crimzo pop off. He gets naded and he gets slept. And he dies. Crimzo, like, as I said, I don't even care that much about MCD. I don't think MCD's that bad. I just think they should only play Crimzo. It's not like Crimzo has a bad Zen, right? Punk gets the grab off. I think Crimzo is just better than MCD as well. Yeah, I would rather just see, like, I just want to see them stick with one, right?
He's going to be able to take out two, and he's got the support here with him. Just trying to keep him up, but not enough as Patty comes back on the Echo, takes him out with a focusing beam. No
Valentine's dead for that, though.
Left on the point here for Boston.
All right.
That'll be the Gladiators taking point A, unlocking the payload.
Strong hands there from Punk.
It seemed like Crimzo came out only when Punk was subbed out. Well, to me, it felt like they only, whenever they wanted to play Zenyatta, which, like, they played, like, it kind of feels like they wanted to play like a Korean roster. You know what I mean? Like they put in like Marvel or Itzel, and then they put in MCD, and then they play like double flex support. Like they did that on Circuit Royale in their first matchup against Vancouver. That's at least what I took away from that one. Do you think Boston are coming in English? 100% English when Punk and Crimzo are in the roster. But I don't know if they would switch to Korean if they only played Korean players. If they are, I don't like that. Patty gets striker again.
Compositions haven't been what's resulting in wins for a lot of these teams.
Katapan brought down by Punk at least there, Matt. And yeah, Valentine seems at best to be securing a trade of eliminations at the start of many of these fights.
Yo, Dragon Ball, thank you for the 29 months.
Sort of that ability to reset right now with Wraithwalk, but if you pursue him...
Crimzo is a good Zen though. Please don't turn this into field or repel. Yeah, literally, like, it doesn't need to be that. Like, Crimzo's not a bad Zen. Like, I'm a big advocate. They just need to have consistency in their roster. Like if Boston just plays, if Boston played Valentine, Striker, Punk, Crimzo, Faith, if they just played these 5 players all the time, they would be fine, right? Like, okay, and also Patty needs to be careful. Like, it is really bad if you have a player doing this, right? Like a player, if you are getting this stressed after dying one time in a map, in a fight that you're already losing, like he needs to calm down, and they need to get him in the right headspace because this isn't the only time he's doing this, right? He's like he does it a lot. He looks really fucking stressed out. Like I remember he has that like blanket that he's like rubbing over his head and stuff like that. He needs to be careful because it's very obvious that he's very stressed. And he's not even playing that bad. Like he just needs to. He doesn't feel like he has any confidence in himself. DP suggested weed. Dude, honestly, like, probably not during a match, but anything to really just get him to just, like, relax. Because I've known so many players in my time who have, like, that's kind of what happened on Dallas Fuel, right? Like, that's what happened on Dallas Fuel, and I've talked about this a lot. We got to a point where everyone was putting so much in 2018 Dallas Fuel. Everyone was putting so much pressure on themselves to perform and getting stressed out every time anything was going wrong. Everyone didn't want to be the problem. Everyone's saying it just makes you play fundamentally worse in every single way because you start overthinking everything. And if he just gets to a point of playing consistent and playing with confidence, half the battle is Patty fan. We know he's a confidence player. If he can get that confidence, he'll be good. But you just don't want him to like burn himself out or burn his career before it's even really began. Weed killed the 2018 Dallas Fuel. True. Why not? Not bad. Thank you for the 52 months.
Trying to make the play with a grab. That's just stunning work from Punk. What a setup.
Yeah, that was Reiner using the Primal Rage there towards the end, but big fight win there for the Boston.
Yeah, he confirmed it. There it is.
Lost the board used for the Gladiators. The Gladiators with a minute 10 on the clock. They come in now. They're going to have to start building up everything. Boston.
Hunter and Kev will get Patty on the weed for sure.
Maybe that results in a fight. Save a nano.
Oh god. All right. Guys, I want to get monetized. Actually, one of my games I got demonetized. I did get demonetized on one of my videos, and I never worked out why. Maybe it was the last time we talked about it was the Gladiators video. Maybe I got demonetized for talking about it. It was the Gladiators one. I didn't check it in. I just assumed it was a music, but I never. Damn, dude. I didn't ever think about that. All right, nobody say anything. Maybe it's because you guys all. All right, everyone cancel all the chats in there. If we get demonetized in this video, that's it. We're no longer talking about it. Valentine not having a good time against Shu. Shu was just really good in this series. Now it's our fault. Yeah, I'm holding you accountable, chat. Titty. Damn it, Smarty. We talked about this. Oh, the nano visor. This feels like one of the points that very few people were able to crack. Like this Eichenwald second point feels very difficult if you have to take the space for the like crossing that distance to get into the castle, because it just feels like you have negative cover and you don't have a second take to take that space.
You still got it pretty far, right? You obviously unlocked it to begin with, and then you got it pretty far. Almost.
Do the players really see the default skins and not the team skins? Yeah. Because otherwise it'd be annoying, right? Like it'd be annoying having all of your HUD and stuff changed.
It becomes a lot harder to push after that first door once you get the payload, because the high ground.
It's a 2 CP spawn, yeah.
Powerful here in Overwatch 2 because you don't have the shields, right? You're going to have to try and attack it, and especially with the Soldier 76, just putting down that consistent damage and then able to just escape even if you do get up there to the high ground. Becomes very
yeah, I think I like this map. Like the thing that I've been really excited about that we saw in the opening weekend is it feels like there are map specific compositions and good map specific like heroes, because or like styles like Eichenwald, Dorado, Circa Royale, they feel like they all have very different styles. We saw some people try and play Rush on this point where they were playing like a defensive Rush, and anytime your team tried to go anywhere they would just rush at you. So Young Jay, thank you very much for the Prime sub. I think map specific styles the ideal state for Overwatch. Yeah, I completely agree, all right? Like, it'd be bad if, like, everyone was just playing Winston, Genji, Soldier everywhere, right? Like, obviously, we see a lot of that, but it's good to see at least some basic styles be different, and people having some success with it.
With the two flankers and the double bubbles to be able to protect, and then also kind of the Zarya comes in, starts brawling out.
It was wild to see people suggest that high-level players wouldn't use the ping system. Oh, no, you're absolutely going to use the ping like that. This was a really bad death by Funny Astro. Like, they just got so caught off guard by this. Funny Astro, that was just a bad play by Funny Astro. No, like, ping system's very good. Like, ping system's very good because it just helps you with knowing exactly, like, you can put it on people's screens exactly where someone is other than saying over there. So, I definitely have not trained my mind to ever use the ping system, but a lot of the pro players who have been using it for a lot longer have. Do you learn any Korean playing working it out? No. I thought about doing it, but I never committed to it. I know, like, little bits of Korean. What? Not a whole lot. How does Punk get Shu? I guess Funny Astro dying really hurt them.
Valentine with the deflect, trying to save some of the teammates that damage that Kevster would otherwise bring. Punk has just too many targets to choose from.
Oh, that was Striker? Wow, that was actually such a big play by Punk and Striker.
Yeah, but are they going to be able to get back and get into contention of the point here? Nice TP. Funny Astro reads it, tries to boop him away just by a little.
No, Shabal. I know Shabal. I know Kajar. Kajar's one of my favorite ones, which is kind of like a let's go in Korean. Oh. Did they go off the point, or Reiner just like stepped off the point for like a millisecond and then jumped away? Whoops.
and Shu was just forced away by Striker.
Like 4 people there.
Yeah, it was a mishap though, I think, because, you know, no one sort of decided, no one knew who was going to sit on the point. It couldn't be Shu under the pressure of a Reaper, and Reiner was trying to engage like Winston does.
Boston has legitimately a good roster. I think they have good pieces here and there. I'm just a little worried about this roster.
Like an overhit replay of that, potentially, as the Gladiators, you know, they give out this first point. Boston with a really good time here to get this paid.
Ow. Why do you pronounce Chengdu Hunters as Chengdu?
This second map.
Because it is Chengdu. It's not Chengdu.
See if Boston, well, they're not going to run into the same issue the Gladiators have, just because they're not going to be trying to use a Winston here. So they need to get information about positioning on the high ground. Valentine's doing that now, and he decides it's time to commit. Blade is drawn, but it's going to be a sound barrier. The tactical visor from Patapan.
It is Chengdu? I'm pretty sure it's Chengdu, but I could be wrong. As I said, I'm not a Chinese specialist, but it definitely is not Chengdu. I'm pretty sure it's Chengdu.
Can't escape, or he can at least, but Faith is left out in the open in his wake.
Yes, Patapan's wants it.
See, that's what gets me about Reddit and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, and you just come in and think. People come in with so much confidence saying things that I question myself. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they're right. You had so much confidence that you came into my chat to tell me that I was saying something wrong, which I'm pretty sure I was saying right, yet I still believed you.
Not able to finish him off with
And then I question everything I thought I believed.
Gladiators, they kind of hold serve.
So is it Chengdu or Chengdu? It's Chengdu.
Probably the toughest part for Boston to get it, especially because Boston's not playing to Winston, right? Like you're gonna, now that you switch over to Genji, you're gonna need the Genji to really kind of unlock this high ground.
Yeah, the way you rotate.
Definitely pronounced Chung, yeah.
Okay, Faith was forced back with a sound barrier, and even with Reiner interposing between him and his teammates, he's able to provide that sound barrier.
Imagine listening to chat. My first mistake. Just say Hunters? No, well, it's my job to say their names, right? There's a couple of weird ones. I asked Psycho if he likes to be called Psycho or Seiko, and he said, call whichever one you want. And I was like, okay. So he's called Psycho from now on. And now we got Iris changing his name for the 3rd time. Oh, keeps it down.
Yeah, again, remember the deflect hitbox doesn't work from behind, so Crimson was able to interrupt Kevster with the sleep.
Are you surprised that some maps were not shrunken when we switched to 5v5? You can't shrink a map, right? Like, think about how many assets are in a map and how long it takes to control a map and how hard it would be to change a map. It's pretty difficult to just shrink it, right? I don't think any of the maps, like, who was it, Hawk, who came out and said that, like, that it was, people were very rarely finishing, like, Escort? I didn't feel that way. It felt like almost, oh, wow, nice sleep by Shu. It felt like oh, that was such a good sleep on Nano Valentine. Holy fuck. I feel like if people have been finishing around the same percentages we've seen other maps. Oh, wow, good play. Crimzo living and now he has the passive. Like, literally, Crimzo not dying there is actually going to win them this round. That's actually so crazy. Good play by Crimzo. Dude, Crimzo underrated.
Dealing with a sound barrier at Uprising, it's not going to be enough for the Gladiators, and a quick retort for the Uprising, evening up the series.
Yeah, a huge map win there for Boston. They did a tremendous job on their point A, and then I mentioned they didn't.
The amount of nasty sleeves, dude. The one on Sparkle by, was it Iris? On the Sparkle on Dorado? That thing was crazy.
Punk's Zarya bubble really kind of opened things up. Didn't look back after that one as they're able to
Iris, fucking hell, dude. It's gonna hurt my brain. Iris. I just talked about it. Cuss, you think any DPS will play the Doom? In my defense, no, I got nothing. I definitely thought I didn't think anyone was gonna do it. I didn't think anyone was crazy enough. Interestingly enough, someone said, well, I think people said it was Jake. Was it Jake or was it Dante who said it? Where he said that they saw someone else put their DPS player on Doom and they were like, let's just do it. So now I'm curious on who else put their DPS on Doom. It was Dante? Like, who else would have done it? Who else is crazy? It had to have been APAC. Maybe? Dallas? They were screaming Korean teams. But recently? Jinmu and Chengdu, dude, they don't have other DPS players. They only have 2 DPS players. It can't be Jinmu. Who Are You? Oh my god. Can you imagine if Who Are You benches Fate and Void? I don't think I like that. I don't want that.
Of any of those, although his wrecking ball was pretty darn good. I mean, anyone that's sort of on a team with gesture was sort of getting rotated in.
I kind of want to see that. I don't know how I feel. It could be Mirror for Florida. Mirror's been going for a while. Like, I feel like he said it as like it happened recently. You know what I mean? All right, so here we go. Boston are like, you know what? We're doing really well. We won. We just won our Icon Vault. You know what we should do? Let's sub out 3 of our players and put in 3 other players. That's totally going to work out for us. So now we got Itzel, Victoria, and MCD in the lineup. MCD's going to play the Ana. Itzel's going to play the Winston. Victoria's going to play the Widow.
Going to be playing the Sojourn. I've not seen Sojourn really. I don't think at all outside of players messing around the spawn, kind of teasing everybody.
In their defense, Arns popped. Well,
playing one of the long range.
you know, maybe not putting Victoria in against Arns was the play.
We get a bit of a Widowmaker battle. Seeing Arns in preseason practice matches, I was very impressed. This guy is...
Yeah, like Victoria, I think is a fine hit scan, and I think he makes sense for the Boston Uprising team. But he's definitely not going to be your friend. Your top tier hit scan Widow who's going to be able to diff Arns, right? Oh, get skewed. Dub.
Widowmaker's opening up with a pick for each.
Striker should not be subbed out. I agree. I think Striker. If anything, I'd rather have Striker on the Widow, maybe the hit scan. But I don't know. Like, when was the last time we saw Striker play Widow, right? So it's like, is Striker's Widow even good anymore?
Don't really have a shield up on the There's a nice shot there from Ons on MCD. The reaction's so fast.
The smallest of windows for Arns there to find a kill. On, by the way, a hero with a very felt hitbox.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really hard to hit the head of that Ana.
Season 1, Stage 4. Is that actually the last time he ever played Widow? There's no way that was the last time he played Widow. He must have played it in 2019.
Trying to opt out of a Widow
Oops, sorry.
at every opportunity.
I remember Victoria popping off on Circuit Royale. Was that against Vancouver? Because if so, that doesn't count. Not to sound disrespectful, but that doesn't count.
Obviously, to be able to just jump out, take a shot or two, but they're not really kind of forcing positioning on the map a lot like Ons does, where he's able to just kind of play from a sideline and really make everybody worry.
This aim style from Arns, though, is very flick heavy, right? A lot of micro corrections. Hard to do where, like, you know, obviously hitboxes change and sort of...
Oh, he's like Victoria has to hit that. If you're gonna get an off angle on the Widow, you gotta kill that.
Devastating. The Gladiators have really been able to make...
It'll just die. Like...
just by Arns taking these different aggressive angles. They're just walking it in.
Yeah, like Gladiators are literally just like slowly walking it in, just getting pick by pick.
Went forever. You see like a few kills exchanged, but like no real...
Why is MCD in to play Ana? I don't know.
Just gonna give it up. Gladiators is able to...
As I said, like, this feels like something someone would do, but as I said, people don't do anymore. Of they put in MCD and Itzel and Victoria, so then they can speak Korean, so they have an all Korean roster. But I don't think that doesn't sound right. People don't do that shit anymore, right? Like, that seems so unnecessary to switch so much of your team.
Victoria's done more damage, by the way, than Arns by like a considerable margin, but only has the one final blow to his 4. Different playstyle.
It is interesting to see Skewed. I don't know how much I love Skewed. Like, obviously Brig's good, but it's also the same thing of like, I don't know how necessary this is. But, you know, we said that last year and Skewed fucking pounded, so it's kind of hard to hate it too much.
Where are the rest of the players? Are you actually able to get them out into...
Skewed is fucking, yeah, his Brig's obviously very good. And if, like, they're confident that they want to play Brig the whole map, it makes sense.
By both Widows.
Yeah, like, Gladiators are literally just walking it in.
Victoria may be, but this is about as passive as you could be for Victoria. He has to get away from the threat of the primaling Winston. But Valentine might want to try and make something happen with the blade momentarily.
Arns gets Itzel. Like, Itzel is just dying. Like, I haven't seen Itzel create, like, any space right now.
Makes it very, very difficult just to get them off the card. And Valentine...
So that was Nanoblade as well. So Nanoblade rally and they get the fight win. Like, they use 5 ultimates to get into that fight, right? And they're not even going to win. They literally used 5 ultimates. Gladiators peeled back, and then they just won the fight again.
Boston, they pushed in a deep. You know, they were able to get a kill or two, but let the payload move in right behind.
This is a stinker so far, Matt.
This is a stinker. Dude, Mitch just being savage.
He sounded so upset right there.
I mean, 11...
He did sound upset. Mitch felt personally offended how bad this map was going.
To slow the Gladiators down, they look uncertain and uncomfortable.
Yeah, they do not look good with this lineup right now. They literally have, like, no one is doing anything.
Not a lot of killing going on from the Boston side of things, so we'll see where Ant's going to position
Arns is creating, yeah. Arns is just creating so much space, and it feels like Victoria is playing afraid of Arns, right? It doesn't feel like he's taking the aggressive angles.
Come on!
That was a good sleep by Shu, by the way.
Realize now that Shu is really aptly
Like, you can see, like, look at how many angles we're seeing get taken from Arns.
stunning sleep dart, putting Itzel in a very tough situation. And he's gonna get picked
Dude, Shu is gonna win that.
We've seen so
Bro, there's no, like, look, let's look back at that. He gets dove by the Genji Ana. Skew dies.
driving through the air.
Genji Winston. His Brig dies. But Shu gets the Mega and then kills Itzel.
And he's gonna get picked off here. Battle's one-sided again as we've seen so far this year.
Shu able to defend for himself here. Like he's just got arms with him.
Wait, did Arns just kill Kevster? Arns 100% just killed Kevster, right? Yep.
Himself here. Like he's got arms.
Roll.
It's crazy.
He is staying.
It's a sacrifice Arns was willing to make.
Try and take some high ground there. Notices Victoria finally peeks out.
I also like how Ans and Shu are the only two alive, and it's like a 2v.
Do you think Straker on the Tracer? Yeah, like
Just grapples up.
we've talked about how, like, I think these bottom end teams, I think they need to focus on, like, playing to their strengths. And I feel like this is like the classic case of a team not playing to their strengths. It's them changing their roster just so that they can play the meta. But, like, think about it. Like, they're playing mirror matchups. In what world, if you're the Boston Uprising, with this roster, do you think you can beat this roster? Right? Like, they're literally, like, Scooter's on his best hero. Shu is probably on... Oh, okay, Shu has a lot of best heroes. Ryan is on his best hero. Kevs is incredible at Genji, and Arns is his best Widow hero. Like, there is no world in which I think these 5 players ever beat these 5 players on this meta, right? Like, so, like, it almost, like, it worries me that they're not, like, they're not just playing it, like, maybe a counter style. Like, maybe playing Punk on the Diva and, like, playing Striker on the Tracer, and then they just, like, do something like that. They would have better success. Maybe they could force LA Gladiators to switch off, but...
Against Ans and not really kind of taking that 1v1 Widow battle.
It's just unclear what the game plan.
And it means you don't have... And then you can keep Crimzo in, right? Like, they have Marvel, yeah. Marvel actually played a really nasty Doom against Vancouver. It was actually really nice.
Boston's final blows here. The others on MCD and Victoria, respectively. But outside of
Why not like Sig? Sig doesn't really work very well. Like, Sig gets run over. And, like, I think Sig gets outpaced in general in this thing. The only time we've ever seen Sig be somewhat good is, like, Circuit Royale, which is very linear, and you can just, like, hold chokers.
very sloppy stuff from the Uprising here.
Yeah, and like how do you even bounce back, right? Like you kind of play that. Like how do you play that kind of style of Widowmaker on offense? I mean, when now we see Boston's shot, it's gonna be really odd to see. As we take a look from Mon's POV, see just how aggressive he's so fearless on the Widow.
And again, you saw Itzel trying to put pressure on, but Shu was always...
Oh, dude, nasty.
He gets absolutely slapped on the card. Needs to be something else here from the Uprising. Something to do with Arns, perhaps, or more.
Arns just like me for real. Yeah. No, I'm the same as Arns. I could do the same level of things he does if I just, I'm just retired though. I don't feel like it. I also like feeling cheating. I just install my hacks and look at me. I'm just as good as Arns. Except he doesn't cheat. But hey, it could count.
And they know how to execute it here. Neither of those seem to be present.
Dude, Arns, I actually feel like Arns is cheating. Like, if you watch him play the game, he actually looks like he's cheating. I dare you to go watch Arns stream and then tell me he's not cheating. It doesn't make sense.
He's more focused on like trying to put damage into like Miner than kind of taking this 1v1 Widow battle. And
Don't tell Kefri, dude. Kefri to... Oh, Faith.
so you see Ans is able to get one. Like,
Excuse me?
okay, yeah, all right. Well, now I totally get why he's not taking the battle. I mean, that is just
I mean, Victoria
Rolled.
Arns single-handedly dismantling the
Custa still reeling from the loss to Arns last night. Dude, I got bullied. That was 2 nights ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
jumped into like a
But yeah, it was not close.
you see a shot like that, you may consider play something else after that. You know what?
We're having a lively
Go
debate
play
with
some WoW
DPay.
for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. A lively debate with DPay about who's better. Obviously, Arns and Happy right now in the Widow. Just today we've been treated to I mean, this is what I was hoping for with Overwatch 2 as well. That return to dominance of that.
Arns is discussing on the Widow. Yeah, Arns is like one of the few players that we've watched. Arns and Happy are the two players I've watched play Widow and be like, okay, the Widow pick makes somewhat sense with how you're playing. But everyone else, like Victoria is straight up just offering nothing. Victoria is so afraid of Arns that Victoria isn't even getting free shots. Right, like Victoria should be ego pushing this, right, in some way, and like taking some aggressive angle to force Gladiators back. But he's so scared of Arns that it feels like he's just not offering anything.
Briefly, at least. MCD's in trouble. Kempson's going to be able to charge him down now. Another sleep down on it. Itzal can't even save his own teammates, let alone start something up himself. Shu's impact is being felt across the map.
Yeah, the nano boost there. It allows Kempster to pick up 2 kills, gets him.
Arns is lucky he doesn't have to play Widow against Jimmy. Yeah, exactly. The league is breathing easy now that Jimmy is retired.
So this could delay some time here for Boston. You know, you pop those sights. Obviously, you don't want to peek, don't want to push out.
Did you see any Cassidy? We saw a little bit of Cassidy. Oh my god. Oh god. Skewed. Oh my god. How is Skewed not dead?
Shu tops him straight back up. Itzal slept again momentarily. Woken up. Infrasight now popped, and they can see where that Widow is. But
Oh, Valentine gets him.
Reign of terror to an end.
How does Kevster kill MCD alone without a blade?
MCD plucked away from the Uprising. Faith has to go for the rally, so the throughput's there. But can he survive this onslaught that's about to come? Ryan is thinking about it.
Well, Skewed's going to end up using the
That Skewed rally might have been a little late.
because there's no payload progress being made.
Yeah, if Skewed had rallied like a second earlier, it would have been okay.
Like a health pack room. I know, and they're picking up some kills here towards the end. Boston.
That's an important kill under Faith. Even if Reiner dies, if he can just be annoying and distract, like, I honestly think this is fine. Like, that was fine by Reiner. Because Faith died. It's going to take a while for Faith to get back.
On Arns. But
So now Kevster could just body MCD.
Al could
I think Boston needs to go first. They need to push the cart. Guys, you need to push the cart. Someone needs to push... Boston, bros, someone needs to push the cart. You need to apply point pressure. I actually think this is something that the teams were really bad at in the league this year. So far. People are not putting on cart pressure and like objective pressure. They're so afraid of like controlling space and going that they're not like, the only thing that is going to win them this fight is that the Gladiator is going to have to file in one by one to try and touch the cart. But by not putting the cart pressure on, they're getting a bit of space. So now this dive has to work.
Ryan's taken down as well. The Primal is going to be committed.
All right, it did. There you go. All right.
And although it's being contested behind them right now, it looks like it was just Reiner. They'll be able to get in, but they use that nano boost. They jump in. They have the Winston there as well, and they're able to pick up some kills, and that prevents the Gladiators from truly regrouping and coming back to fight.
100% is chasing kills, yeah.
With a very angry Faith in his face, he's still able just to slam him.
Show that this goes over some of Glad's weaknesses. Yeah, I've been talking about that, like bits and pieces of like they didn't adapt well. Like, let's talk about last map, like on Eichenwald. Like, they didn't adapt well to dealing with the Zaya Reaper set that Striker and stuff like they were doing. Patty Fan just like really struggled to do anything. They didn't really change up their comp. They just kind of like fell over. Obviously, it's a hard second point Eichenwald, but with how much of a skill difference there is in this match, Gladiators should not be losing maps to Boston.
Embarrassment of riches for him. 2 and more. Valentine forced into the deflect. Reiner comes straight on him.
Shoot, cut.
My son.
What is cut? Essentially, cut is kind of like dead.
They just collapse. So
It's like a Korean thing of like, if you kill someone, you go like Genji cut.
in space and not able to do much of that. So this will be a big kind of test for the Boston Uprising, right? Can you break through this area against a sniper like Ons? In this type of cycle.
Yeah. So Dawn of Undead, we do get a clean feed. Ooh, we get a when we're in the truck, we have a clean feed. We don't watch through the YouTube, which is very nice because the YouTube kind of sucks.
With the theme of this
At least right now. So.
a little zany for my comprehension. Valentine to the high ground here. Spots. Kemp's never been constantly harassed by Reiner.
It was much better Saturday, yeah, and I'm hoping that this weekend they have time to actually fix it. So from what I've heard, they're going to be trying to fix it because obviously it's one of the big concerns over the league from this recent weekend. Reiner's been getting slept well, and this is my point that I said the things that I'm worried about. Reiner did pretty well, I think, this weekend, but I'm worried to see how Reiner and like Patty Fan, how they're going to do in a situation where the back lines are better, right? And the DPS lines are better. Like, are they going to be able to perform at the highest level with this roster?
Infrasight maybe
We'll
gives
see.
the Uprising a bit more confidence here. At least they can keep tabs. Okay, of Arns, who's got one of his own now.
There's a problem with OBS or for the Overwatch. No, it has nothing to do with the game. And it's everything to do with the production company, as far as I'm aware. And just like the streaming of like broadcasting it out. Alright, Boston gonna get the cap at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say some nice shots from MCD. We've seen it like on live, well, in the beta with supports, right? You kind of play a little bit more offensive, and Nana's one where you're able to land your shots. You're able to kind of contribute.
Fix the black on purple, yeah. There's a couple of graphics and things like that which are a little off, but hey, hopefully they all get fixed. Here's my sweet copium, viewers of Overwatch League who are like, oh my god, there's so many bad things. It feels like all of the big things and important things that were bad from this opening weekend are things that are fixable. You know, at least the game is good and the structure of the league seems good. And a lot of the things that can be changed and fixed are the problems. So hopefully they can all be fixed in short time and then the league will be sick. Can't fix the Titans. Yeah, not everything's fixable. But you know, the important things.
Valentine is doing a... look, you have a Genji Widow composition, so normally you see like less damage done, like maybe more...
I wish they had tested with the preseason. Yeah. I think we wish for a lot of things these days, Patrick, but hey, at least we got the lights on.
On the Genji here now. 10 to 7 final blows, so starting to catch up to Arns. Pretty quiet now that he doesn't have these idealized sightlines, man.
I think another big problem was the observing. I think the observing, that you can tell that the observers, you can tell that they haven't got a lot of experience at the Overwatch League level of spectating 5v5, and they'll improve and they'll get better. It's always going to be hard in the opening weekends, but you know, especially as Patrick said, when we don't have a preseason, we don't have this big test run where people are able to like sort of get reps in, get a feel for it, all that kind of stuff.
Use this nano boost to force off the enemy Winston. Primal Rage here.
Oh, catch the down.
Into the side room so we can, probably turn him into paste.
Oh, that is a big nade by Shu. Oh, that was such a big nade. Spectating aggro dive, exactly. Right? The game is so different, it's also a lot harder. Like, dive's always been hard to spectate.
Gladiators, maybe not quite quick enough on the uptake, but Ryder's going to go for a primal. The second he gets woken, the discipline, though, means that he's still asleep. Oh, and he gets...
Oh, God. Ryder, no!
Keeps himself alive. The no biotic grenade hit.
Wait, is he going to get Valentine? No way. They use Nano, Rally, and Walls for this. They have 5 ults for this fight. Is Boston about to lose another 5 ult fight? Look at this. Boston's about to lose another 5 ult fight against like no ultimates. So they get... Reiner forces the Rally, then they use Walls, and then MCD Nanos as well. But Nano's the Genji, but then the Genji doesn't go. Like, he needs to pull the blade here, I think. Then he holds the blade, pops it after the Nano, and then gets headshot. And then Itzel Primal gets Arns, at least. Wait, Arns killed him while getting Primaled? Dude, this shot must have been fucking nuts. Arns is getting pressured by the Winston here. He's getting Primal. What? Oh no, he came for Kevster. Alright, okay. Wait. Why did Itzel leave Arns? Wait. How does Itzel... Itzel's on Arns. He gets Primal. I don't understand why Arns is alone now. I wish I could see that from Arns' perspective, because that feels like it was a nutty shot. Oh, nice sleep. MCD's had a couple of good sleeps in this round. He's getting pocketed. Itzel isn't winning that. He doesn't need to win that. He just, if he can just keep Arns busy, even if he corners him and he's getting healed by everyone, that's fine, because you're distracting the Widow. Plus, he can potentially primal him off the cliff. Like, you gotta leave, you can't just ignore the Widow. If you ignore the Widow's gonna kill someone, especially when it's Arns, right? Yeah, like, Itzel came over here and tried to dive Kevster. He's definitely not gonna kill Kevster. Kevin Reiner? I don't know. We'll see. It's impossible to really know exactly all the specifics because we're looking at it from such a narrow lens. But it seems like some weird decision making might have been made there.
Punk at their helm at tank, but still an option going forward right now. Though it's runs mind turn.
Missing the replay viewer. Yeah, I'm hoping we get some form of replay viewer at some point. It'd be nice. Is there an 0-24 team in the West? I don't think so. Like, if it's going to be anyone at this point, it has to be Vancouver, right? Because Boston and London both have wins already.
You know, I can vote a little bit of a stumble for them there, and maybe their setup wasn't super conducive.
Paris, I don't think Paris aren't an 0-24 team. And remember, everyone plays each other twice. It would have to be Vancouver. Like, Vancouver's the only team I can see going 0-24, but I don't even think Vancouver's that bad to go 0-24. They would have to, like, spiral really bad to go 0-24. Like, they have good enough players and they have a good enough team to be able to win some games. Like, they almost beat Boston, right?
Where they had the Zarya with the Genji and the Reaper, and they ended up taking Eigenvault, and it'll be Reiner on the Doomfist here. So we'll see the Doomfist tank for the Gladiators. Want to get a little bit more aggressive.
Is next weekend Asian teams? No, the APAC region starts in 2 weeks. So this next coming weekend should be the last time. And they'll be playing, the APAC teams will be playing not this upcoming weekend, the weekend after. May 20th. There you go. Liz has a number. That helps a lot. So we're going to see Punk, Crimzo, and Striker come back up into the lineup. They're going to play the Zarya and a Reaper stuff. Obviously, it worked on Ike. I like the strategy to go back to this. I think Zarya is good on these points. We're going to get some Ryan and Doomfist as well.
Just kind of looking both ways. Same players coming from every direction.
Funny Astro gets
He's trying to look for a teammate to try and bubble. As I see there, he gets Striker.
Valentine.
Get him out of harm's way, but looks like they had the Doom.
Dude, Funny Astro is choosing violence.
Yeah, full immersion for Funny Astro as he tends to tilt whichever way he's trying to go on that Lucio.
Samesies.
His body, every neuron is linked into the movements he's making.
Able.
And the Uprising able to punch through.
I don't think, understanding MCD and Crimzo Sauce, they're both going to play Annam. I'm with you, man. I've been yelling this shit from the rooftops for years at this point.
Used to see Custa play Lucio. Just sit there because he wasn't really able to get on the walls and do all that.
Feels like an interesting nano. Like, why did they nano here? Like, what are they? They've already killed Shu. Like, what is the value of nanoing the Genji here?
Between when we used to see Custa play Lucio and Funny Astro, Custa used to just sit there because he wasn't really.
Did Matt just flame me?
That was Now you notice the difference between when we used to see Custa play Lucio and Funny Astro. Custa used to just sit there because he wasn't really able to get on the walls and do all that.
Just catching strays out here. Hello? Next time we see Matt, we're banning Matt. Next time Matt comes in here in all caps and says shit, we're banning Matt, okay? Everyone remember this. Remember this moment. Someone call HR. But let me go back to my point. That nano was definitely bad. Like that. Like what are we doing here? Why do they need the nano here? They have positioning. Anna's already dead. They don't need to do anything. They take a fight way too aggressive. Use the nano. Force themselves out of position and then get them self-tilt. That was also a really nice sleep by Shu. But like Punk dies for that. Like that's such a bad play by Boston.
Obviously, winning out that sort of neutral fight of the middle part of the map allows them to get that barrier moving a little more. Reiner wants to pursue.
Yo, Elon, thank you very much for the fat host, by the way. I just saw that. Much love. What's up, Blankies?
Movement here from Boston at the beginning, but like so much of Coliseum, you just see this area, this long corridor, and this first like really hard choke that you can kind of play around. It's pretty difficult to break through.
Striker's had a good round so far, but as he gets pushed out to the open, his options for trying to, come at them from the side with his very powerful abilities are limited. Still,
alright, we're all sort of standing around, not really doing a whole lot. We got a nano visor here soon, right? Good beat. Counter beat. Alright, nano. They nanoed the Genji. I don't know if I like the Genji. I feel like they were trying to hold a lot of their ultimates. They ended up, yeah, I think they should have just nano visored. Drop the beat and then nano visor, but instead they used the blade and the visor, so they lost a lot of their ultimates. So kind of bad ultimate usage here by the Gladiators. I think if they had consolidated and coordinated it better, they wouldn't have had to use as many.
Yeah, the Gladiators spending heavily on those ultimates just to kind of get ahead, right? It's going to be up to Boston to exceed
All right. Also, chat. Quick question: has anyone come up with a cool name for what we call the robot? TS1 just it doesn't. I don't vibe with it. You know, there has to be a better name. Has anyone come up with a banger yet? Bob 2, Timmy, Steve, Jimmy, Jason. What is Jason? Who's calling it Jason? Jimothy? Supers chat came up with Jason. Why is it Jason though? Like, someone's gonna come up with something funny. You know? It feels like I'm just waiting for someone to come up with a really funny one and we just haven't found it yet. Either there's not a good name for it or we really need to work on our memes and our good naming abilities. Call it Jane. Just like this robot pushes us to victory, Jane pushed esports to new heights. So I am therefore naming the robot Jane.
Also see them get it to that point and then back up.
Perfect. The inventor of esports. It'll happen. It'll happen. And when it happens, we haven't got a name yet, but when it happens, it'll happen. Oh, wow, that almost got deflected. Patty Van almost got that.
Probably, I assume Boston will take the same type.
Bo, I'm gonna need you to stop rolling everywhere. Thank you, buddy.
Really kind of go for that full completion.
Not bad from Reiner there. He saw his target got bubbled by Punk, so he goes after Punk, maybe sort of assuming correctly there'd be no bubbles available. Funny Astro, it's in the name, but he's no clown. He knows that Punk is vulnerable and he wants to pick him off.
Sorry, Punk.
And the Gladiators are actually back in control here. This is a good spot to be in, getting Faith picked off and having the stagger.
I don't know how the Gladiators held that.
Extend their lead now.
Yeah, they'll get back in control of the bot, push it a little bit further. So you see they want to try and take that high ground that Funny Astro is on currently. We're in a real power position. Able to lock them in coming out of spawn as you'll have Reiner switching off of the Doomfist and going over to the Winston.
Grimzo has to nade himself there. He's taking damage across the map from Shu as Nano.
Strike against Patty Fan. I think Patty Fan's biggest issue that I saw from it is he just dies first a lot. Like, it feels like he's the first death for the Gladiators, like, way too much. As a Genji, I feel like you shouldn't be the first death as much as he is.
Right, and you see they're going to be able to move the bot faster back to their barrier here. But the Gladiators going to get another fight pretty much right at it. So they're going to have another opportunity here.
I feel like he has a big ego. I don't know if it's a big ego. I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself.
Boston about 20 meters behind him.
Alright, Nanoblade. Nanovisor. Oh, that was close. Honestly, not a bad effort from Valentine. I just think Nanovisor is better, especially when Shu can get pocketed by... Shu can pocket. Anything on the line? Well, this is the regular season of Overwatch League, right? So these aren't exhibition. Yeah, they count for, you know, the Kickoff Clash tournament, but also regular season points. But... Alright, double beats. No one really has any ultimates for this fight. Kevster gets Crimzo, though. Ooh, Funny Astro.
Gladiators are back in control here, but there's a lot of spending happening across the board here. The Uprising obviously having to go for that sound barrier there might hurt them now, especially the Gladiators spawn, and they're back and ready to push.
Yes, we'll take a look at a
Patty's tweet made me so sad for him. What did he say in his tweet?
Let's see the tracking here on the
three-player bio.
Yeah, and it's a huge biotic grenade. The Shu's been hit.
Was it Patty and Kevster switched between me? I can't remember what. I think that was not in this match. I think that might have been in a different one.
Now, in terms of being able to finish players off rather quickly, they're not able to play like a second tank, right? Where you would have had it.
He said, "Winning never felt so shit." Oh God. Yeah, he's gotta careful. He's gotta be careful. He's gotta stop putting so much pressure on himself. Can we get the visor? But Crimso's almost at nano. Then they grab. They're gonna win on the grab at least, right? Right? Yeah, they're right.
He has primal, so if he wants to use this to just kind of extend how long you're contesting on that bot, you could.
Hey, who picks the MVPs of the game? I think it's the casters. I'm pretty sure it's the casters who choose the MVP of the games. We don't on the desk. We don't really have any say over it.
Try and burn down that tank.
Again, I think Striker got a lot of value early.
Esports dudes seem so hard on themselves. Yeah, it's just hard, you know. Like, you put this crazy pressure on yourself. Oh my God, that was good play by Valentine. Oh my God, good juggling by Reiner. Oh my god, Reiner, calm down.
Reiner trying to hang on after finding Striker. But Punk will punish, and this will put the Uprising in a position to get close to equaling, maybe even set up a front spawn for themselves.
It's the stats. It's not just stats. Like, obviously, the casters use stats, and there's other people that give them feedback on that as well. But yeah, it's the casters. Juices.
But you see the Gladiators just getting really aggressive right onto the bot. They want to jump in and fight this straight away.
Shouldn't be the Death choosing MVP? No. No. It doesn't really. We don't talk to the MVP or anything like that, right? Like, we don't talk about it. It's the casters who talk about it, so it should be their decision. So there are situations in which the Deaths can't watch the game, like, or like can't watch all of it or hard focus on it because there's other things going on, like getting the show going and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I also think what they want to do is not exactly
the casters know the most about what's going on in the game because they're the ones talking about it, right?
Here on the high ground with a lot of space to run directly behind him, where he still has
His skill level is higher in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1. I think it's that Overwatch 2 is less solved. Oh, good. Blade. Isolates Kevster, doesn't get himself killed. Beat for funny, Astro goes off. Final fight. If Boston win this fight, they win the map. Good double blade. That was a good. Yeah, that was a good blade by Pattyfan. Didn't die. Gets the kill.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into OT here.
This is bad. Yeah, they're not gonna get there. And the Gladiators win. Like, I don't think Pattyfan played that bad. Like, obviously Patty got picked a lot and he struggled, but yeah, I don't think he played as bad as he puts the pressure on himself, right? Hey, look at him. He's stressed out about how he played. It's okay, Patty.
Means the bot takes a bit of a breather. It's a huge window that the Gladiators can sort of take to set up, play safe, and use the natural.
But like, yeah, like that map, like Boston were one team fight away from winning this, right? Like Boston looked pretty good against this Gladiator squad. Like Gladiators should have been more dominant in this match. But I think Boston, like when I'm harsh on Boston, remember, like I'm going with the assumption that they're not going to play these 5 players. If they play these 5 players and they find styles that work for them, I think Boston will be good. And I think Boston will win matches. I think that they're not going to be the best, but I can see them being middle of the table. But if they keep doing these weird swaps, I'm worried about this team because I feel like they're going to boom themselves out of the games. Because like, you know, you saw right there, the Gibraltar, like that map, as much as they almost made it to 3rd point, wasn't that close. So I want to see more from the Gladiators. I'm excited to see them play up against one of the better teams. I think we said they'll play against the San Francisco Shock this weekend. So that'll be the first true test we have for the Gladiators and get to see where both those teams land. Boston Uprising, obviously they got their win against the Vancouver Titans. But, you know, if you're a fan of the Boston Uprising, with the team that they put together, they need to be getting better wins and more wins other than just over teams like Vancouver Titans. I would love to see Boston end up near like Florida and Paris. And be as competitive as those guys and try and fight for those top ends. But as for right now, if they keep doing these switches, it might not be so hot. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More VOD reviews will be coming your way. If you liked the video, give it a like. Hit that big red button if you want to see more VOD reviews in the future. And I will see you guys next time.